WRTV Investigates is on the case. The Fisher's man says his personal information was photocopied at a local furniture store and later ended up in the hands of another customer. David Pendleton is raising concerns about this data breach. He contacted WRTV Investigates for help. Our Kara Kenny is digging into what happened and finding out whether you should hand over your driver's license or credit cards when a store asks.
Your driver's license and credit card contain valuable personal information for identity thieves, like your name, address, date of birth, and credit card number, which is why the Attorney General's office says you need to protect this information. David Pendleton needed a piece of furniture for his family room and on September 19th visited the Ashley Home Store in the Castleton area. When David went to pay with his Ashley Advantage credit card, he says the salesperson made a request.
He did ask to make a copy of my driver's license and credit card, which at the time felt completely unnecessary and felt odd. But he said, we just need this to send in and to keep with your paperwork.
Even though David was not applying for anything, just making a purchase, he reluctantly handed over his credit card and driver's license. Days later, he got a Facebook message from a stranger named Ryan Lundquist.
And the first thing I saw was this picture of my ID and my credit card.
Ryan received a copy of David's personal information by accident while visiting Ashley Home Store.
Oh my goodness, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And what do I do with this? You know, is Ryan someone that can be trusted?
Turns out he is trustworthy. Ryan is an Army veteran and father and destroyed the document after he messaged David.
I was shocked that this could happen at all, that I had this such sensitive information.
Were you thinking, well, thank goodness I'm not a bad guy?
Exactly, yeah. I put myself in David's position, and it was such an egregious breach in his financial security.
David says he had a hard time getting an explanation of how this happened.
So it was at that point that I reached out to RTV6.
We took our questions to the head of consumer protection with the Indiana Attorney General's office. Would that be considered a data breach?
Yes. So that in a serious data breach.
While Indiana businesses can collect credit card information, they're supposed to store it separately from other personal identifiers like your name and address.
That they collect it, they try to keep it safe, and they have obligations under Indiana law to do that. And if there's information gets out there, they also have obligations to notify the consumer and notify the Indiana Attorney General's office to let us know so that we can follow up with consumers.
Criminals can use bits of information to steal your identity and open accounts in your name. In David's case, a treasure trove was on that piece of paper.
The more information that you have collected, the higher the risk to the consumer, the higher the risk of the data breach.
We reached out to Ashley Furniture's corporate office, and they told us this was an isolated incident and was addressed. In this case, certain customer information was inadvertently mixed with another transaction. The company also says we consistently adhere to best practices to protect customer data. David learned the store had another copy of his personal information in addition to the one Ryan intercepted.
I've asked Ashley to destroy it, and they have written back to me and they've put it in writing that they have in fact done that.
A customer service rep also told David, we humbly regret the situation that occurred during your visit to the Castleton Ashley Home Store on September 19th and the circumstances that followed. David plans to file a complaint with the Attorney General, which has a data privacy team that can investigate. David and Ryan met in person for the first time this week.
So I'm thoroughly appreciative of your service.
They both hope their story prompts changes at the furniture store and raises awareness about data security. David is relieved it was Ryan, not someone else, who ended up with his personal information.
I believe what goes around comes around.
One of the best ways to protect your identity is to freeze your credit for free. Just go to indianaconsumer.com and click on Freeze Identity Thieves. Working for you, Kara Kenny, WRTV.
The Attorney General's office says you can protect yourself in other ways when a business asks to copy your information. Ask questions such as, why is there a need to copy it? What will they do with this information and how long will they retain it? If you do not feel comfortable, you can always refuse or leave the business. Also, make sure you check your credit card statements and credit reports regularly for any unusual activity.
If there's no longer a need for them to maintain a copy of that, then certainly you're within your rights to ask for that back or ask why they want to maintain that information.
The Payment Card Industry Security Standards Council says merchants should not store customers' sensitive data such as card identification numbers, CVVs, and PINs or cards' magnetic stripe data.